And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 3rd of August, 2025. Fantastic Four First Steps, not surprisingly, was number one, dropping 66% for a $40 million second weekend. We'll talk more about that. Bad Guys 2 debuts at $22.2 million. Oof. The Naked Gun debuts at $17 million. Actually, not bad. Superman makes another $13.9 million in its fourth week. And Jurassic World Rebirth is at number 5 with $8.7 million, which is about what I thought. I think I got the box office right again this week. But, okay, let's get this out of the way right now. $40 million this week. What does that bring it to right now? Well, currently the worldwide total stands at $68.7 million, which does make it the highest grossing Fantastic Four movie of all time. But that's not a good drop. Like, realistically, when you get a film that is so front heavy, and like obviously the more front heavy a film, the bigger the drop usually. Now, that being said, we've had other films that have much bigger opening weekends drop less, so that's not a one-to-one. But generally speaking, because so many people went out to see it the first weekend, not as many people come back to see it the second weekend, usually, sometimes. Anyway, usually when you want to drop off, you want anything below 60%, usually. And if you can get below 50, you are in a beautiful place. When you see over 60, then you're in trouble. And if you see over 65, something went wrong. So what happened here? Because right now the number, like the traction is still traction. The trajectory is still good for this film. It's $368 million. It's made on $200 million. The estimates have it between $400 and $500 million that it needs to make to break even, which basically means it's got about $100 in marketing. So if it's $450, this will break even, and it's less than $100 away from doing that. It's about $82 million away from breaking even. So it looks like it will break even and be profitable. It will be the highest grossing Marvel film of the year, which is good. You know, it's not dead in the water by any stretch of the means. I really need to preface that. Because you know you're going to see people are going to be like, it's a failure, it's done. It's only its second week, calm the F down. But legitimately, though, the question is, what happened here? Because if we go to Rotten Tomatoes, what do we see here for the critic rating and the verified, the people who went to see the movie and we confirm saw the movie, verified audience score? If I remember correctly, last I knew, Fantastic Four was in the mid-80s. I know, like, Superman was 82%. I know that. Fantastic Four, I want to say it was like 85 or 86 last I knew. The last I also knew, the audience score was like in the 90s. 90% of the audience at minimum liked it. So as soon as Rotten Tomatoes decides to wake its ass up, so let's just again see what, just so we can gauge this properly. All right, where are we now? Popular streaming movies, PV. Come on, seriously, wake up. There we go. Okay, so come on. Okay, 86%. It's got a better rating than Superman, which currently we'll talk about a little later. Closing out 600 million. And it dropped 66%. Look, I'll be honest, that doesn't add up in my mind. Like, realistic, everything's different, so whatever. But, like, legitimately, based on the amount of people who enjoyed the movie, and don't go say fake numbers, it's real numbers. Shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, anyone who's just got that, I hate people who are just grinding their agendas in. But still, 92% of the audience at minimum liked it. You would think with no strong releases that compete with it, because let's be very honest, Bad Guys 2, Naked Gun certainly didn't take any money away from this. Bad Guys 2 maybe took a little bit, but not enough to be 66% drop worthy. So what happened here? I have maybe a few theories. One, Marvel's reputation is improving. It is improving. but it's still not back to what it needs to be. And I don't think any of us were expecting it to be back where it needs to be, like back in their original heyday rep. It's going to take a while, if at all, if ever, for that reputation to really rebound. It's going to take some time. But the rep is still hurt. I mean, look, I don't think this is a comic book movie fatigue, per se, because if that were the case, it wouldn't have opened to $118 million. It wouldn't have the audience scores it does. So that's not a comic book movie thing. That's not even a bad movie thing. Most people are liking the movie. And I mean, the people who don't, they don't. That's fine, whatever. I'm going to be honest. I don't really have a firm answer for you. I mean, the one thing I can maybe think of here is that as much as I enjoyed the film, and very rarely lately have I gone to rewatch films. So I think that's kind of key to where my theory is lying a little bit here. I will admit that this one, except for like some really cool sequences of action, I will admit that it is a slower film in many ways. It's a slower pace. We spend a lot of time with these characters, which is not bad. But in terms of the spectacle, you get like a big action sequence in the middle, and you get the finale. There's like a minor action sequence like in the beginning for like the introduction of the characters. But other than that, I'll be honest, there's, as far as superhero films go, it is a little bit more reserved in terms of the amount of action you're getting. But the action sequences you get are lengthy, and they do a lot. So it could very well be the fact that while it was a good film that people enjoyed, it wasn't one of those films that a lot of us, including myself, I'm not going to be rushing back to see it again for a little bit, if at all. Hell, I wanted to see Thunderbolts again in theaters for the second time, and I never got around to it. It might just be that. It might be the fact that people saw it, really liked it, but didn't need to go see it again. And that's unfortunate. That is, because it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. So is Thunderbolts. Brave New World, not so much. Brave New World definitely put a little bit of a bump in the road. But, I don't know. Now, the good news, though, is despite the horrible drop, which luckily, again, well, actually, no, that's going into what I'm about to say. Despite a really bad drop, it does have the advantage of really nothing still coming out to challenge it. Like, really nothing at all. Although it does change my predictions for how many weeks this film is going to be number one in a row. Obviously, it's number one this week. Now, next week, I do see it, because that's kind of the weird thing about these movies. They do take like a big first, like second weekend drop, but then the other drops tend to be smaller, like low 50s, high 40s, or something like that. But that would put this film next week somewhere in the low 20s. Even I think Freakier Friday opens up higher than that, but I could be very wrong. But apart from like whatever movie takes the number one spot, it doesn't have direct competition at all. Like, in terms of the type of movie that it is and the type of audience it brings in, it still does not have any direct competition, which is good, which means that it will still be able to get the most out of its run, whatever that is. It's also, like I said, looking good for becoming at least breaking even, if not profitable. It's about $82 million away from doing it. And it's still clearly got some gas left on the tank when it comes to the international. So it's only the second week, so we still got time. Realistically, where do I see this film ending? I think it could end between 500 and 600, which right now would be a major win. So, yeah. Now, The Bad Guys 2 debuted on $22 million. Has a worldwide right now, $44 million. Now, if I get the original Bad Guys up here real quick. You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy. Get the Billie Eilish. The Bad Guys. All right, then. Let's see. Okay, the original Bad Guys came out 3 years ago. Something got caught in my throat there. Okay, that opened with 23.9, barely missing a beat. It was made on like only 50 million though, I think, or something. I don't even remember what the original one was made on. They don't post the budgets anymore. But this one's made like around 80 something million dollars. So it basically opened on the same amount as the previous one. A little less, but roughly speaking the same amount, which, I mean, bodes well. The original one did really well internationally. I don't actually have reviews for The Bad Guys up right now, but what I've seen, it didn't get bad reviews. In fact, let's get Rotten Tomatoes back up here real quick. Rotten Tomatoes. Now I will, when I get around to, because I do take the request for at least the animated stuff seriously enough to go out and see it. Unfortunately, I just got a new car, and there's a minor issue with the car, so I'm without my vehicle at the moment. But when I get the time to go see the film, I will go see The Bad Guys too, because I did like the original Bad Guys, and I feel like I would at least have fun with this. It's got to be better than the goddamn Smurfs. Whatever. I'm not gonna. This thing's taking forever. Point being, though, I don't think it was a bad. I think it's still got a positive rating. Is this good or bad? It's kind of indifferent, really. It's basically the same opening, minus like $1 million or so, like almost the exact same amount. But its opening weekend right now isn't the best worldwide. Now that could change easily. But I mean, I'm not really surprised. Like I saw with the original opening, the original Bad Guys didn't have a huge opening. It's not like this is a beloved franchise, but it was a franchise that people, based on a book series that people liked and that they were willing to do more with. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a bad. Think words here. Opening per se. I just don't think it's very good. And to be fair, it's August. You want to talk about like doldrum? There are only like 2 real doldrum months anymore. One is January. January is a goddamn doldrum month. Still, you want real quick. Let's actually just go to the worldwide. I'm gonna open another tab for this. Let's just go to the all-time opening weekends for January real quick here. Okay, all-time opening weekends for the month of January. Nope, I want weekend records. There we go. Okay, so the month of January. Okay, American Sniper, $89 million is your overall record. Want to know what the top 10 are? $37.8 million and up. That's where your top 10 starts. Like, how hard is it to beat those numbers, really? And then the only other, and this is surprising, so you'd think August with that $133 million opening weekend would be a really big month, but actually, no. You have one film at over 100 million with The Suicide Squad. Guardians of the Galaxy has a 94 million, but then you drop below that to 69 and go all the way down to 54. The only other month that's actually slower than any other month, because all these other months, including August, have a $100 million plus opening weekend, is October. That's the thing that really boggles my mind a little bit. It's October. You have a $96 million opening with Joker, 93 with Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, which isn't even really a movie. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, but nothing 100 million there. So surprising. And again, if you look at the averages, though, it's a much better average than, say, January. So, yeah, I mean, January is the only real doldrum month, but August is a slow month, to be honest. We occasionally have, like, a big movie gets dropped, but August is generally a slow month. Then The Naked Gun debuted with $17 million. I saw the film. I had a damn good time with it. It's $11.5 million for a worldwide total right now, $28.5 million. Now, believe it or not, $17 million isn't a bad opening for this. It's on a $42 million budget. I'd be willing to bet it's about $40 million in marketing. The trailers, you had like the main trailer, and then you had like little other versions of the main trailers, altered versions, plus some minor marketing here. There were like clips and stuff. But overall, yeah, I'd say it'd be about equal to the budget roughly. So it's yeah, I'd say it's probably made on about 82 million. So if it hits 120, I'd say this film broke even easy. It broke even. Honestly, and I'm speculating on that marketing budget. The marketing budget could be a lot less than what I'm speculating it is. So 17 million against 40 really isn't that bad. Again, especially when you're considering that it's a straight comedy, not based on existing IP, yes, but not something that I think would really be directly challenged by Freaky Friday. Those two crowds are very different. Now, Nobody 2 will definitely hurt this film because that's kind of an action comedy-esque thing. But yeah, I mean, 28.5 million. I don't actually think 17 million is a bad opening to start with. Now, if it's not able to recruit, like, say, a lot internationally, then there might be a problem. But I think 17 million is an okay start. We'll have to see what kind of legs it has, though. Because it is funny. I just don't know how many people are going to maybe see it more than once. I think that's going to be your real big question mark on that. But talking about films that are doing well, Superman made another $13.9 million. Bring it to $551 million. This is important because apparently we know for a fact that the production budget was $220 million. But it turns out the marketing budget was around $150 million. That means its total is $370, which is expensive as hell. But what that also means is that if you do the math real quick, if you do the math, that means it comes out to $555 million this film needs to break even. And wouldn't you know, it's less than $4 million away from doing that, which means this film is not just going to break even, it's going to be profitable. So to all the Snyder Bros, and I'm not talking about Snyder fans, I'm talking about the Snyder Bros. Suck it. I'm sorry, those people are like the real bad side of fandom, and they really get on my nerves. But yeah, this guy, someone's gonna say this guy's always attacking these guys. Like, no, I'm just being honest about it. And I try not to be, but every once in a while, I gotta get out of my system. But no, and you know what? It's good to see that even though Marvel might be struggling a little bit right now, comic books themselves are still popular. They're still entertaining enough that people want to go see these films. And the fact that James Gunn was able to make a Superman film after the breakdown of the DCEU and make it good enough that people wanted to go back and see it again enough times to not just break even but make money. So you know what? The DCU is in a good starting position. And by the way, I really enjoyed Creature Commandos as well. So there's that. So good for Superman. And again, it is a very hopeful film. It's very uplifting. I think that's very attractive for people. Jurassic World Rebirth, another $8.7 million for a worldwide total right now of $766 million. Like I said, I didn't think this film was going to hit $1 billion. After like last week or the previous week, I did not think it was hitting $1 billion. But it still got 800 maybe to hit. And you know what? Even though it'd be the lowest Jurassic World film in a while, it still was very profitable. Universal's going to be happy with the results so they can move forward. And hopefully they'll take some lessons about the things that worked in this film and things that didn't work in this film. I.e., less families in the film and a bit more dinosaur stuff, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, anyway, I digress. No, this is a good number. Look, yes, is it lower than the previous one? Sure, but also the film, you're technically revitalizing, re-equaling a franchise after like the critics are kind of like, so come on. you can't expect another $1 billion. But together, debuted with $6.8 million. It also debuted earlier in the week, so $10.8 million. Kind of a film. I had plans to see it this week, but those plans fell through, and now more movies coming up. It's just going to fall to the wayside, sadly. These things happen. What are you going to do? F1 made our $4.1 million. Right now it's at $545 million. Again, that'd be profitable for most films. This film's made on too much money. It's made on too much money. But I do know they got like tax deals and stuff like that on marketing. So maybe maybe they'll be fine after all. Who knows? I Know What You Did Last Summer made our $2.6 million. $58.6 million. This film is pretty much broken even. It's made on $18 million. You got to factor probably only about $20 million in marketing would be my guess. So you're looking at a film that's made on 38. It didn't even have to hit 60, and it's about to hit 60. So this film made its money back, which is good for Sony. It shows that I guess there is still a bit of a market for this film series. I don't know how much of a market. It's not like it did Scream 4 numbers, or was it Scream 5? I can't remember. But it's not like it did the sequel for Scream numbers. But still, it did well enough. Smurfs made our $1.7 million, $89.7 million. Like, look, there's not much else to say, really, about Smurfs. Yeah, it's animated. Yeah, there really isn't much else for kids' films out, but that doesn't mean that people want to take their kids to this. Like, kids probably be like, I don't know the Smurfs. Like, why are you taking me to this? Just shut up and play, honey. Shut up and play. Yeah, it sucks because the Smurfs do have some charm to them. But unfortunately, if you're just not making a product people actually want to listen or watch, and you just keep kind of recycling and rehashing, like, hey, they're going to the real world again for the umpteenth time. Then why do we want to sit and watch it? Smurfs, apart from those two live action movies, have never been big box office draws. And even then, I think it's because of the novelty more than anything else. At least for those first ones. How to Train Your Dragon made $1.3 million. It's almost all but confirmed this will become the highest grossing one of the franchise. Barely doing it, but it will probably become the highest grossing one of the franchise. It's like only $3 million off. It couldn't happen to a nicer film. It is a very nice looking film. It's a fun film. It's a good remake too. Like, is it better than the original? I don't know if I'd say that, but I get comparisons are going to have to happen just because remakes and all that. But sometimes you don't need a comparison. Sometimes just try to judge the film. And as the film goes, I enjoyed it very much. Elio, $365,000. Gee, man, Elio just came and went like a fart in the wind. And then Lilo and Stitch came like a hurricane and a fart. Literally the highest grossing film of the year, and these two doesn't count. So, yeah, it's been a good, it was still a good week at the box office. I added up before doing the video. It's still over $100 million at the box office, which is good. This week, though, we have Weapons of Freakier Friday. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know which one's going to be number one next week, because Fantastic Four took a big drop. Even if it takes a smaller drop, and this makes it in the 20s, Freakier Friday could very well open higher than that. But, as we've seen with the Bad Guys 2 and the Naked Gun, and what was it last year? Not High School Musical. Mean Girls last year. While they do have an audience, niche IPs are hit and miss. So, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say it's still Fantastic Four next week. But then I'll still go for Freakier Friday. Bad Guys 2 is going to be, because it's a new kid, so it's probably going to take a decent drop next week. I mean, in a good way. Then Weapons, and then I'll say Naked Gun. I'll still say Naked Gun. Although, you know what? As unfortunate as it is, I think Superman might take a better drop next week to keep it high enough to outpace Naked Gun. So I'll actually go Weapons, then Superman. But that's my predictions. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.